Hello and welcome to ENCY Tutorials. In this tutorial, we will be setting up a model and workpiece for 3-axis milling. First, we want to import our model. So we will go to our Model tab, click on Import, and I'm going to pick the model that we will be using for the remainder of this basic tutorial course. You can see when we import a model, if we have the Workpiece Visibility tab checked, you will see the automatic workpiece that is generated on the model, and that is the minimum amount of material that would be necessary to make this model. I'm going to turn that off for the moment, and we're going to focus more on our work offset that we see here. So this is our global work offset. It is also what would be considered our 0 point for this project. We're not going to want to have it in the bottom middle of this particular part, so I'm going to put it in the upper left-hand corner, right in here. And how we do that is with spatial transformations. So I'm going to click on spatial transformations, and I'm going to find locate 0. Now you can see with this little box that it graphically displays where that crosshairs is going to show up. So we're going to put it at minimum x-axis, maximum y-axis, and maximum z-axis, and apply. And we'll close this now. And you can see that it has put that crosshairs into the upper left-hand corner. Now, if I turn back on our workpiece visibility, it hasn't updated yet, but when we go to machining and come back to model, we can see that that is where our work offset or our origin is. Now, I don't know about you, but when I'm making a project on a CNC machine, I almost never have the absolute correct stock size for the model that I'm making. I usually have something bigger. So let's check out and see what size our part is. If we click the geometry measuring icon up here and then click on this far side, we can tell that it is 175 millimeters long. And if we click here, we can tell that it is 125 millimeters wide. And if we click on the very top, we will see that it is 44.45 millimeters tall. So let us now create a workpiece that would be more appropriate and allow us to machine the entire part without having any unfinished edges, right? So we are going to go into our machining tab and go down to the workpiece icon down here. Click on primitive, and then we want a box around the part. So I'm just going to add that like that. Now that is what this is now. This box around a part relates to this. I'm going to open that box around a part, and we're going to look at our stocks. So in our Z minimum stock, I'm going to add 15 millimeters. And our Z max, I'm going to add 0.55 millimeters. And in X and Y minimum and maximum stocks, I'm going to add 12.5 millimeters for each side. You can see now that the workpiece is now 150 millimeters wide, 200 millimeters long, and 60 millimeters high. There's a problem though. Our origin or work offset is not on that corner anymore. Now it is somewhere inside that workpiece. So we have to add those same values to the X, Y, and Z to get our work offset to be on that corner. So let's go back into our Model tab and click on Spatial Transformations again. And we will go back to Locate 0. Now we are going to start where we started last time, which is going to be minimum x-axis, maximum y-axis, maximum z-axis. But now we're going to put in custom values. So we want to move the x-axis back this way. So we're going to put in a custom value of negative 12.5 millimeters. We're going to put a custom value of y-axis to a positive 12.5 millimeters and a custom z-axis to a positive 0.55 millimeters. We're going to apply that. Now, when we go back to our machining tab and the box regenerates, we can tell. Let's check the view cube here. And we can tell we are right up at the top of the stock and at the back corner. And we have 0.55 millimeters that we can take off with a face mill operation. And we have 15 millimeters below the part that we can hold on to in a vise. Now let's see what our part would look like if we turn the Haas VF5 machine that we have selected on. The part looks to be lost because it is being represented embedded in the machine table. We need to lift our part up out of that machine table, and maybe we'd like to put it in a vise. So let's go to our fixture selection down here and click on Load, and we will pick an example vise. You can substitute whatever models you have of your own. So here's our example vise. Now let's go to our machine setup icon, and you see the vise again. And here's in setup. And we will go to our global CS and click these three little buttons here. And you'll see this box pop up that has arrows. You can pull and move the part around to get it in the correct area, at least for simulation purposes. Now we're going to look at the left side of the view cube. And I'm going to use that arrow to push this part over, and you will find that ENCY pretty much snaps it to the right place so that it's in the correct jaw, touching that correct jaw. Now let's look at the front of the view cube so we can move our part to be more centered in the vise. And click OK. Oh, and let's check the left side of the view cube again to make sure that we're high enough. So we're going to move it up in Z a little bit. Click OK. And now we're going to click on the fixtures icon, click on our vise jaw, and we can move that so that it snaps correctly as well. Now we have set up a workpiece and we have it fixtured on the table for our next tutorial, which will be how to do a face milling operation. I hope this tutorial was helpful. Remember, the 3D models that you see in this tutorial will be available in the link provided.